It's the People's Podcast Show with Adrian Biddle, Melissa Bartlett, and your boy, Kerry Digsby. It's your show, so tell us what you want to talk about. It's that The Round Table Podcast Show.
All right, man. Every time I hear that, boy, I feel like we $1 million.
Oh, yeah, man. All day long.
All day long. Well, family, what's going on? It is the People's Podcast Show. It is at the Round Table Podcast Show. We are live and direct here on Facebook. So if you happen to be chiming in, joining in, please share with everyone. Let everybody know about the People's Podcast Show. And who knows, you randomly may be pulled to the side. And if you have access to a camera, we'll send you the link and you get to be right on here like the Black Hollywood Squares. So, yeah, check it out. And speaking of which, look at here. There's our sis right there, Charlie Toots.
Hey, Charlie.
What's going on, sis?
Might have to drop her a link straight off.
If she ready, we can get her on right now. Charlie, you just say the word. We'll bring you in because our how can I say this? The one that keeps us in line is currently busy at this time, but she's going to be joining us very soon. You know who we're talking about, Pitbull in the dress, Miss Melissa Bartlett. But hey, the chair is open if you want to come on in. But while we're waiting, I do have the man, the myth, the legend himself right here with me. It is Mr. Adrian Biddle, aka A Money. What's going on, brother?
What's up, my brother? How everything on your end?
Man, if it got any better, I tell you what, I quit my job. But that being said,
okay, let me do the proper introductions with you as well before we even get into all of that.
Yeah, and man, we got any better.
And the man, the myth, the legend, the one who conducts the show, the Mr. Conductor himself, CD.
All right, family. Good to have you on again. Oh, this is funny right here. Oh, Mr. Connor, what's going on, man?
Hey, Robert.
Man, appreciate it. I love that picture that Robert has. I mean, he is chilling with his queen. That is a beautiful picture. And we need to see more photos and stuff like that of love and such, because I mean, the way things are today. Oh man, tempting. Oh, tempting. Well, come on, sis. Say the word. Thunderbird. We get you on real quick. Yeah. You don't like today's topic? Definitely. So, hey, Money.
Yes, sir.
You've been checking out the game. We're gonna go ahead and get our manly stuff in before she comes on board. Did you check the game out last night? What you think?
Man. Yeah, man. I think it was well deserved on Milwaukee's part. Congratulations to them. I think last time they won a championship was back in the 70s, if I recall correctly. So congratulations to the Milwaukee Bucks and their fan base.
Oh yeah, man.
Yeah.
They deserved it, man. They put it in and even it's funny too with all the marketing that they've done in order to really put the brand out there and really get attendance back up. Yeah, they played and they let it be known they want to take this one. So they did. So congrats to them.
Yes.
Man, oh man. I am stoked with today, man. I was working and I was thinking about the topic that we came up with tonight, and I had to do an Adrian Biddle. I had to go deep into the records and do some research and pull up some stuff that that was near and dear to me back in the 80s. Yes, I'm telling my age. Back in the 80s, most definitely. So tonight's topic. Well, hey, Money, you go ahead and introduce tonight's topic. I got Charlie Twos coming on. I'm trying to talk Charlie to come on in.
Okay. All right. So the night's topic is going to be role models today and yesterday. Do we place them on a pedestal and expect too much?
Role models.
Yes. Role models.
Yeah. Role models. And shouts out to and that's another thing too. I want to tell everybody, shouts out to one of our viewers. They actually dropped this particular topic to us. And again, this is the People's Podcast. You guys can drop any topic, and if we feel daring and we are bold, we're going to go ahead and throw it out there to the masses, and we're going to pontificate on it. We're going to talk about it. So one of our followers shot us this topic, and I was like, "Oh, okay. How can we approach that one?"
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, hey, Money, guess what? Booyah! Here she is.
Just like that.
Hey, family. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm so late. Please forgive me. I just could not get away from that 9 to 5 today. However, I am here. I am here. I am here. Hello.
I told y'all. Yeah, buddy. It is Miss Pitbull in the dress, Miss Melissa Bartlett. So
What
Melissa,
did I miss? What did I miss?
hey, we went ahead and dropped it on him, or A Money dropped the bomb on him. Tonight's topic.
Mm-hmm. We're busy coaching Charlie Twos to join in as well.
Yep.
Come on, BFF. You come on. Let's go. Let's get it.
Yeah, so we just introduced the topic of discussion for the night, and it should be a barn burner.
It should be. Who wants to go first, though? I know somebody got some deep meditative thoughts about role models. Yes.
Go ahead, Melly Mel.
I think that we as a community, and that's of all people, I think that it's okay for us to have role models. Absolutely. But I think we need to make sure that we keep role models realistic. Somebody who you can touch, you can talk to, you can speak to. Not so much always an athlete or an actor or a musician, someone in your neighborhood. I think sometimes people look to celebrities versus look into their unsung heroes right next door. So, I think it's important to have role models that are realistic, that you can run into, like in your local grocery store, or you may worship with, or attend a game. Not always just someone that now has fame or has a name for themselves, as they like to say. All of a sudden, everybody wants to make them a role model. And I think that's unfair as well. Just because you get famous doesn't mean that you want to be a role model, So it's a catch-22 situation but that's just my 2 cents right now.
I'm kind of in agreement with that too. I'm thinking of people such as parents, grandparents, teachers. I think they are real important, especially as a youth, in kind of molding you and helping you kind of self-assess yourself into who you want to grow up to be. So I certainly agree with your statements too, as far as the importance of role models.
We may be having a guest very soon. Keep our fingers crossed. That's pretty dope, though. I'm glad you mentioned that as far as role models, and I think that's one of the things that I was telling Adrian. I was back over there dusting my stuff off. I was over here taking a look at the signature I got from Michael Jordan, his brother, and different people from back in the younger days. When we used to be like, ooh, when I grow up, I want to be like Mike and everything. And then
it was a jingle,
forward.
right? Like Mike.
Yeah.
Like Mike.
Yeah, it was one of those things. But then you fast forward to now, and you're like, okay, do those role models still hold true to you today? And what are they setting an example for? And then also, just like you mentioned, people that are just right around you that could be excellent role models, but we kind of overlook them to go over to the glitz and the glamour and the fame and the fortune. It makes you wonder, and I should have asked my sons this as well, as far as who are their role models? Like, do they have role models? Because you can never be too old to have a role model.
Correct.
For older people, such as myself, we call them mentors. That's another thing to think about. But yeah, Role models today makes you wonder. Man,
And
who's
who
your
takes
role model?
that word
Yep.
seriously? I mean,
Yeah.
role model.
Mm-hmm.
Role means an action, a picture, a awareness. You have this activity,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and then to model yourself after them. I mean, could you truly have a role model unless you know that person's story and you're with them every day where you can follow their regiments? Because if you're going to have a model, think about when you're putting together a model airplane or anything of that nature, it gives you instructions step by step in order for you to be able to create the exact replica of that model, correct? So who
Mm-hmm.
are we as people that you
Mm.
trust that much to follow like that?
Okay. Okay. Uh-oh.
Oh,
Oh,
wait a
let's see
minute.
how it works. Let's
Here she is. What's
I
going
said I was
on?
mobile. Hey,
With the
Hey.
glasses. Not the heart shaped glasses.
you know it's all about love. It's all about love.
I'm loving it. I'm loving it. What's going on, sis?
Not a thing. Not a thing in the world. How is everybody?
Doing
Everybody's
good.
Good.
doing good, doing good.
My
I
BBFFs
knew. Here you
on the
go, right
Hey,
here.
my
Oh,
BBFFs on the show.
yes.
all right, Adrian, get ready.
Oh,
I
I'm gonna enjoy
mean,
this.
this could be interesting.
Yes, it is.
I
Yes,
think.
it is.
I mean, I think it's an interesting topic.
Well, share. What do you think about role models?
So here's the thing. My role models have never really been celebrities. And
Okay.
if they were celebrities, they were celebrities that I had a personal connection with. Like literally, I had met them personally.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And I think that's because of what I was always brought up that role models were,
Mm-hmm.
right? Role models are traditionally people that you want to emulate, that sets over some sort of example that you want to pattern yourself after. So
Mm-hmm.
I, being who I am, couldn't see myself patterning myself behind a celebrity.
Mhm.
And by that, I mean, most of the celebrities I admire are singing in public. I haven't done that since I left high school choir. Most of the celebrities that I admire were doing things that I necessarily wouldn't do in public, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not acting, I'm not doing those things. And what I admire about them is because they are playing the characters. So that wasn't things that I can necessarily do. Who I do consider my role models definitely are my grandparents. Why? Because they set the example for me when I was out of control, right?
Mhm.
Um, and for me, a lot of my teenage years, I was out of control, no question. Um, so when you have role models that rein you in and they're related to you, then I never really had a celebrity role model. Um, I also had positive and negative role models. And by that, I mean, I saw things that I may like that you do or admire in you
Mm-hmm.
that might have a negative effect on my life. So I let you set the examples of what I don't want.
Mhm.
Cool for you, not cool for me.
Mm.
And I think that um, a lot of that also has to do with I've always been connected with energy and I knew my empathy very, very early. So there were certain times I could walk into a room and I don't like you. And you said nothing. I don't like you. Right. So I think that because people got away from setting role models and old school models, especially for our community. And by our community, I know this is a public space, so I'm saying it, and I understand that I'm a public person and I do a lot of things in public. When I say my community, I mean those of us with melanin who were brought up with pride and
Mm-hmm.
respect. Okay. Um, in our community, your role models were your big mamas, your aunties, the neighborhood so and so. Because if you decided to do something, because we were not privileged to have the privilege, if you wanted to be a teacher, they set you up with a teacher in the neighborhood, or you found a teacher that you admired. If you wanted to be a business person, or you wanted to follow behind a person, then you went to that auto shop and you followed behind Mr. Jones because you wanted to work on cars. So I think that somewhere along the line, we lost that connection to who the role models were in your community. So I think the reason why I jumped on with this topic is my views have always been different on it should have never been a celebrity in the first place, because when I said I wanted to do something, my family set me up with someone in the neighborhood who did those things. I said I wanted to be an entrepreneurial person in my community. I'm that because my grandmother was a business owner. My great-grandmother was a business owner. My great-great-grandmother was a business owner. So I knew that. And when people say, well, how can you prove that? Well, go to the state books for the capital in Missouri, and both of my grandparents were 70 years plus business owners, days named after them. So when I had to look at role models, I had to look at my family tree. I didn't need someone on TV.
This is
I
what
still
you
don't need
talk
someone on
about,
TV.
Carrie, as well too, as far as talking about the round table and sharing the stories, because a lot of our family history is not shared. A lot of our family stories aren't shared. So if Charlie was that type of person that had that type of family, how would she know that if she has entrepreneurial ancestors in her actual DNA? That because it takes a certain person to be an entrepreneur. So if she didn't have that history shared, how does she even know? I don't have to look outside of my family or outside of my neighborhood because it's in me. And we as a African American community have to get better with sharing the stories of our past with our future. There's a lot of educated and got some different status and tax brackets. Their kids have never been where they've grown up. Their kids don't know what it's like their parents don't talk to them about struggle at all. They just think my mom and dad just had this money and this is what I'm entitled to.
Good point.
I think that's interesting that you say that, because we did keep the oratory within our family. And even when we didn't, I was nosy. So I sought it out. I think what just struck me too as an interesting statement is Melissa Nelson just said that I was her role model. And that's interesting to me because we are the same age. And in track and modeling. And a lot of people don't know that was my thing. Like, I did those things. I had no idea she was paying attention then. I didn't find that out until we were adults. So I paused when I read it, and I know that you saw that in my reaction because we're the same age. I actually dated one of her relatives. I was on her team for track. So the fact that she would say that means something, because then that means that I was doing what I thought I was doing then. And even though I knew then, and I learned very well now, I wasn't doing it effectively, or I wasn't doing it properly, because during that time, and the reason why I paused, I was the life of the party. I've always been a party with Charlie. I wanted to be in everybody's everything. So I wasn't at home at 14 and 15 when everybody else was. I wasn't living with my mom. I was in North Carolina. I was doing different things. So for her to say that and have that positive light when I knew I was not necessarily doing all the positive things leads me to believe that I've always been on a path that I wanted to be on, and that was to be better than expected of myself. And also during that time, that was a lot of searching for who I was. That was a lot of attempt to not be here. Like when I say I shouldn't have made it to 43, that's with my own attempts and the lifestyle that I was living. So I appreciate that she would say that, because one, she didn't have to, Two, I didn't know she was looking, and I don't necessarily think during those time frames I was what a role model should be. So I appreciate and I'm very grateful that I can say that we've been friends my entire life,
Mhm.
adult life, definitely. And when I decided I wanted to live, she remained my friend. That is appreciated. So for you to say that, Melissa, just know it did not fall on deaf ears. And I have a different appreciation of that.
That's what's up, man. That's beautiful
Mhm.
right there. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And I think that's very important too when it comes to role models. Well, there's two things that you guys kind of mentioned, both of y'all. Role models do what they do, and they don't look for any shine. They just naturally do. And I think that's very important because there's a lot of individuals that quote unquote want to be role models, and they do a lot of stuff. And I've seen it. Many of us have seen it. You shine when the camera is on. You shine when it's time for that soundbite. You shine to get that little write up. But then when all that stuff is gone, you flip, you change. You're not that reachable person.
I wish I've never had that ability. Like, and I think that's what's funny to me that she would even say that. I've never had that ability to not be authentically me,
Mhm.
even to
Yeah,
my
that's
detriment
because you're
sometimes.
genuine. Yeah, you're.
Like,
These are the
That's it.
people who are not genuine. These are the people
That's
and
it.
I've
who.
tried it, and I'm like, well, why can't I do that? Like, you know, and it's because I don't. My face talks whether I want it to or not. So if I'm displeased, excited, or anything, it's
Mhm.
talking to you before I say anything.
That's that Leo in you.
What?
That's that Leo
Say
in
all
you.
of that. Say all of that. And I'm sitting here thinking about, she said modeling. If anybody knows me, the insecurity levels are absolutely ridiculous for me. Never, because I've always been the larger child. Let me be clear on this. My curves have always been reckless and borderline BBW, and I think that's from the minute I got here.
Mhm.
And that wasn't cute until Jill Scott Nasty Graham said so. Okay, so don't act like in the '80s thick was in, because it wasn't. Don't act like in the '90s when she and I were modeling, that was a thing. Like, I had to fight for that attention. Like, they wanted a certain look. I was like, nah, I'm gonna give you all of this look. Because one, they need to see women of color. Two, they need to see that we all are not built a certain way. And even when they said that wasn't what they were looking for, I was like, why don't you let the audience decide? Why don't you let the people who are watching? Why don't you let the club decide? And the minute I did it, other girls like myself, to include Melissa, to include my cousins Letitia, and tall, large, medium, small, then we owned that space.
Mhm.
But I did it only because you told me not to, not intended for anybody else to follow along or do it. I did it because you said I couldn't. And I had to do things that make me uncomfortable. I still do things when it comes to looks that make me uncomfortable, because I can't expect things of people if I'm not willing to be uncomfortable to do it myself.
Mm.
So that for me was interesting. She said track. I was told I shouldn't run track. I've always had breasts that entered the room before I did. They were larger then than they were now. They said I couldn't do it. I did it anyway. And then I made a point to be the best at it because you said my body shape couldn't do it, which is why I appreciate Shakari, because you're telling her things that she can't do. Wow. Wow. Okay. Thank you again, Melissa, for that. Um, I think that's what makes I draw to Shakari in that situation. Given the situation, I was disappointed in her because I've been in her position and I felt like she probably could have made a better decision. But then I felt like I remember what that decision was like.
Mhm.
When you get information similar to what Melissa just pointed out, when you are constantly hearing things about yourself that may not be true, and it's coming from people that were in a place to respect you, you do certain things to cope. She did that to cope. Do I wish she had a better coping mechanism? Sure thing. But do I remember when I didn't? Absolutely. Right? So I was disappointed because I knew how that would look for her. But because I'd personally been there, And I know that she's a role model for a lot of people. I said what I said and I stood by what I said because I said it from a place that I know. You don't always want to be the role model. You just want to be absolutely amazing for yourself. It just so happens when you do that, other people are looking.
Yeah.
Yep. All
And
the
I
time.
think, and here's the thing though, because and I'm glad you mentioned that because that brings another layer to this discussion. Melissa, thank you for chiming in and sharing so much. We definitely appreciate it. Keep going on. But when that came out about Sha'Carri, there's always mixed reviews and everybody's got an opinion, just like a you know what. So a lot of people were like, oh man, I can't believe she did that. What was she thinking about? Da, 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 da. Oh, what about the young girls that are looking up to her? What are they going to say? You know, all these things that were coming out. And I think I give props to her for saying what she said, because she could have been one of those type of individuals that said, you know, it's not fair. Why did they take this from me? Da, 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 da. She just said, look, and I think that in itself is more role model worthiness because she took ownership of what she did.
Yes. And that was going to be what I pointed out.
It did. That's
is
what
that she owned it. And
Yep.
that's made it that made it authentic, and it made it great for us who will still support her, who are team Sha'Carri, because we were team Sha'Carri when we saw you owning it before you had to.
Right.
We definitely went team Sha'Carri full 100 when we saw you own it when they tried to take it from you.
Yep.
Right. So I appreciate you saying that she owned it, because that was my next comment. Everybody's like, oh my goodness, you said you were disappointed. You did all the things, you jumped on her. I said, did you read what I said? What I said was, I'm disappointed in that decision.
Right.
What I also said was, I'm still team Sha'Carri because she owned it and she didn't allow you to state her narrative. She said, yeah, I made a mistake. I'm here for it. But if you were in that position, if someone just told you under that pretense and you still had to show up and be 100 and run your best race and do what you need, you do what you have to do to cope. Find me one person, authentically them or not, public or private, that doesn't show up. However they have to, to just get through. If you find me a person that can do that without finding a crutch or something to cope, I know where you found them. It's the Bible. His name is Jesus, and he's the one.
I think that people just were looking for a reason. And I just wanted to make sure that the narrative of her story didn't go the typical just crucify Black. So, yes, I was disappointed that it happened to her. I was aware that my mother was going to die. And it still felt like somebody put a ton of bricks on me when she passed. And I was sleeping right next to her when she did.
Yeah.
So you tell me, here's this young woman, and mind you, she's young. She was in Oregon,
where it's legal. So be clear when you mention that. It's very important. It's legal there.
In Oregon, but she's been in Oregon training. And here's this news. I don't care what anybody says.
Give it this full taste though. Let's say what happened. You received a writer. You received the questions. You knew the reporter. They told you what they were going to say. They went off script and blindsided you with information that you were not prepared for. And the information you were not prepared for is that your strained relationship with your biological mother is now ended unbeknownst to you.
And that was very, very.
That alone, it was for her, I want to smoke.
That was so distasteful. Like, how do you say that? And you knew for a fact, you knew that she didn't know.
So I took that into consideration when I made my statement. And people said to me, they were like, well, you don't know the situation. I said, no, 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 no. I said, that is why I am still team her. I'm disappointed. But now that you've given me all of that and you've allowed me to process that, I'm going to cut her some concessions because you can't give me that information with me knowing it. And I don't want to smoke. So if you blindsided me and I'm public, then by all means, but I can still be disappointed because not only am I disappointed in her, I'm disappointed in her circle. Because there was a meme that said it and I posted it and I will say it again. If that was a dealer or someone who had that, or even if it was legal wherever it was, our generation and back would have been like, nah, baby girl, after you get out the Olympics, I'll give it to you on your face, but you're not getting it today.
Right. You about to drink this run. I know you need something.
And we all know that.
Something. I got something else, but you can't do that.
Because our generation and back, and I'll even give it to some of the children born in the 90s. It's your circle. And they would have said to you, I get this is messed up. Let me help you and hold you over until you do this. But because we are in such a disposable society now, and I can say that.
Yes.
And I'm going to say it the same way Mr. Charlie said about the Blue Origin going up as a Black astronaut. What I'm going to say, you might not like. You might send for me, you might come for me, but I still put on my pants the same way. So I'm going to say this way. You know, just like I know, the rules and things that we are held accountable for. Today's society is disposable. We were not allowed to not know whether we wanted to or not. We are a representation of something. Children today are allowed to think that they're representatives only for themselves. We did not have that luxury.
Not at all.
We knew if we weren't at least representing our mamas or aunties when we stepped out the house, every time you saw me, I represented every Black person you knew in your entire world. And in Oregon, where we already aren't, if you don't think that she is Miss Black America to them, what did you expect? I was like, so you can't even fathom at 22 now, when you think that you can go out and still be representative of only yourself, when you get hit with the realization that you aren't and you weren't prepared for it, you lucky that's all she did to cope.
Yeah. And that was traumatic for her. And I want to throw this little thing out. Shouts out to Terry Digsby. Hey, babe, thank you for joining us on At the Round Table. Thank you. Throw this name out here. Ryan Locke, 2016.
Oh, so you're going to lie, say you was robbed and be melanin challenged, and we just supposed to be okay with it? I'm sorry, I said it that way.
Me and my
friends, we were looking for the bathroom.
And was robbed at the Olympics. This sister ain't even made it to the Olympics yet, and she's going through such turmoil in her life and getting this spotlight shined on her. But we have somebody who's been to the Olympics several times, and he's there in 2016 with his friends, and they got robbed, and it's an international incident now, and then a year and a half later, I get to be on Dancing with the Stars. I ain't gonna say nothing else. Okay.
We wanted this spotlight to turn and burn her, but it made her shine brighter because she did not get the backlash. Of course, there was a few haters, but she had so much love, so much support. You know, doggone well, with the Olympics going on, they would be trashing her from that day all the way up until now. And they couldn't do it because you know why? We band together, and not just us as Black people. We band together and said, we got your back. We got your back. And the people who were the haters when she stepped out on the track.
Yeah. And that's where role models, again, and y'all who coming on, we're talking about role models today, and we're going to talk about the pedestal in a minute, because there's certain, and Adrian's going to love this one right here. When I throw this one out here to him, oh man, he gonna run with this one right here. When
I already know where you going.
You know I'm going.
It better not be what I think it is.
Adrian.
Yes, sir.
At the G, I'm gonna throw you a lob. need you go get it. Behind the back. But
can't wait for this one.
Oh yeah. But yeah, so I mean, so sisters, let me ask y'all this. I mean, because y'all really been deep into it. Okay. Hold on. We got Miss Amber Star Robinson.
Amber,
thank you for joining us on here. I had to share this right here. This is another prolific sister of ours that loved to follow us. She said, "I am so authentically myself. I'm going to say, as a Hispanic woman, she was targeted because she is the underdog. Period."
I can agree with that.
Absolutely. Yep. I believe it, Amber. I agree, I should say.
I agree. And I think that's what people really don't see. And I'm going to say, even if she wasn't intentionally targeted, I don't think people know that certain things are so deep-seated in your psyche that you can ignorantly be intentional with your racism and your targeting. Because no one's born into the world that way. And I say this all the time. No one's born into the world with any of these preconceived notions. We are learned creatures. And once it is so ingrained and so instilled that it becomes who you are as a culture, by the time it has dwindled itself out to what it actually is, you are ignorantly complicit.
Yeah, it becomes a part of who you are, and it's the subtle actions.
You don't even understand that you have said it or done it.
Yeah, you can look at somebody.
Normal. I didn't mean that.
Oh yeah.
It's that whole statement. I have Black friends. Okay, but your whole family didn't always. So things that you were taught about Black people.
I mean, I go to her house and she's Black.
Okay, good for you. I also stand in the garage and have never been a Buick.
Or a mechanic.
Oh, glory. Hey, buddy. What are you coming out left field with those right there, boy? Man? This is creative sisters right here.
You guys know how it is, and we've seen it in the workplaces and our resumes are long. So I'm not speaking to any one particular job, but we've seen it in our workplaces where Sally or Betty or Becky, Karen could be in the middle of doing something, or hey, you know what? It's something as simple as, I know they're going to be hiring. There's a position opening up, and just want you to keep your eye out for it. Are you going to her because she's the best qualified?
Oh, Father God.
Are you saying that because you told multiple people who you feel should be strong candidates and she happens to be one of them? Or are you saying that because you want her to have the leg up? Now, I'm not saying that you're intentionally.
She said something about legs and I didn't point out the other factors. Look at Jesus. Won't he do it?
I said legs up, but she didn't jump. But, and I'm not going to say that these people are racist, where they're like, oh, I'm not going to talk to anybody who's not white. But again, here's that ignorance. Here's that you don't even realize that you are looking out. So going back to Shakira's, you have those people who may have targeted her, or if it wasn't so much that they targeted her, you had these people who didn't intentionally shield her.
Or they had that preconceived notions. You expected it of her because of what she represented.
Correct.
And I loved when people pointed out, her nails, her hair, and all the flamboyancy. I was like, Jackie Joyner-Kersee, FloJo.
Right.
You didn't think it was a thing then because it wasn't a trend. But now that we have the Cardis and the Stallions and the things where you can see it in the public eye,
right.
Oh, now she's a certain thing. No, ma'am, we've been doing that since Madam C.J. Walker. Please stop.
Right.
If you know anything about our culture, the best and the beautiful is what we've always been.
Always.
Even when you had your chains around my neck, I was still the best and the beautiful. with your chains because I
To the point
adorn
where
them
you
with
couldn't
shells and
understand.
other things. Right. So it's just who we are. It's just who we are.
So talk
Anything that
about
you
who
give
really should be
me,
a role model.
even if you give it to me, and that's all cultures. If you give them the best and you give them the opportunity, we just always seem to take whatever it is, high or low, and make it glow.
You better say that.
All right now. So I gotta share this one comment right here. So Terry just said, I honestly feel like when someone, because a celebrity goes viral, that the world feels that they should become a role model. Honestly, unless that person says, I want to be your role model, then we should stop holding them to that standard.
That's
Now,
right. That's right.
That's deep.
That's right.
I don't know because you have to think about what Melissa just said. I had no intentions, did not know. It's when people are watching. You may not ask for the role model, but it just may come to you. So
but
you might just have
you
to
may
take
not
it.
ask for it, but you shouldn't be held accountable if you didn't ask for it. Now, there's just certain things that's common sense. There's always people watching. So you have to conduct yourself a certain way because you know people are watching. But that doesn't mean that you are instinctively and intentionally doing things because you are a role model. And I think a lot of people put that on you. Again, these expectations. People do it in everyday life with relationships. Oh, well, Charlie's my cousin, so I'm expected that I can drop out our house any day I feel like it. That's her house.
No.
You can't do that. You can't just be well, that's because they family. I could just go by. You still need to let somebody know. So this
you could be my mama. If you show up unannounced, I ain't answering no doors.
No. Ding dong. I'm gonna be looking right at you. Nope, you ain't calm. So I mean, you know what I mean? Like there's expectations that we as society put on celebrities, and we put in like I say, even on everyday lives. Like you're these everyday common relationships, you're putting these expectations on people, and it's not fair.
It's not fair.
To me, it's not fair.
It's not. Now, I'm about to do that lob. You ready, A-Money?
Catch an egg.
I think so.
I got to shift my weight.
Okay.
Catch an egg. Hold your hands up. Get ready, get it.
No, don't do that. You look like you better get robbed. Look, so here's a good one. And A-Money, I want you to chime in on this. Because we talk about role models, and she just mentioned that as well, as far as people and expectations and it's placed on them. What do we do about those that are in the ministry?
Ooh, Father God.
Damn it. Lord forgive me.
I lobbed it.
Wait a minute.
I lobbed it, and he dunked it with like crashed the board like shit. We ain't got no board now.
What? Lord, he done took it down. We can't play today.
Can't play no more. I'm going home.
Lord.
I don't even know why you went there with that one.
Jesus.
I give okay. Let me tell you why I did that. I'm gonna give y'all guys an example. Everyone,
Jesus be offensive around my whole attitude.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you an example. There has been many times in which we've seen in the news in which there's been those that are of that position, and people put them at a certain plateau, and then when they make a mistake, people want to bum rush and automatically say, man of God, should have knew better.
That false grace is far.
It is. And ready to just throw stones at them and such. And let he who have not sinned cast first. Okay, I ain't going to go there. But it's one of those things in which we as people, and I think a lot of times, even in our culture, we tend to put the man of God in a position in which he just, he can't do no wrong. But as soon as he do, y'all, we ready to just go ahead, chest. We ready to beat him. We ready to flog him. Go carry that cross down the road. We ready to set it up over there and let the sun shine.
Oh, I see the hand.
Did a hand right there.
There's a church finger.
This ain't cause I gotta go to the bathroom. This just.
I was like, this the church finger.
This is church finger. Now, are you church finger? Go to the bathroom, or you gonna comment, Which
I'm
one?
going to comment. I would like to
Yeah.
comment for
Okay.
400, please.
Hey, money, you saved right now. Hold on.
Let me tell you something. As a kid of an evangelist, someone who grew up in the church, you know, sometimes 2 Sundays, you know, 2 services on Sunday, midday Bible study, choir rehearsal on Saturday, tent revivals where the mosquitoes would eat your legs up. I came from a fire and brimstone church.
Clean the church after.
All the way.
Yeah.
You're going to have these people who look to put certain ministers or certain religious leaders in that place. Now, when you are and you take on that leadership role, because of the type of role it is, you are saying, hey, I am this person, I'm conducting myself this way, and you're putting yourself in a leadership position. You can't lead without having some type of a curriculum or having some type of a routine to let others learn from. However, you said 3 words, man or woman of God. You did not say is, are, you said of. That means that we are a part of something. We are a part of a community, but if your neighbor sell drugs, does that make you a drug dealer?
Well, no.
So you can't.
If you are of the people, though, and see, this is why I'm glad you said of, because wasn't Jesus of the people? Wasn't that water wine? Didn't he say, come as you are? And I like to tell people all the time, the Bible, which is probably why I shouldn't do this, because I'm not frequenting everybody's church, but I've sat in a few. The Bible is a guide, right? It's your guide on the side while you are the sage on the stage. Okay, so you
say that again. Hold on, say that
it
again.
is your guide on the side while you were that sage on the stage. Okay, very simply input. And if you chose to be a facilitator, which is my chosen profession, if you chose to be a facilitator, you must know while you were the sage on the stage, your guide on the side must be on point, knowledgeable, and something that you are going to follow, as Melissa said, curriculum. The Bible's not on that stage. You've got to go find it. You've got to go seek it. You've got to study it. I believe they call them Bible studies still. I've never seen a Bible not have a sage on the stage. Whether it's a pastor, a preacher, or someone who has read it, the Bible didn't read itself to you. It didn't. So, although I agree that you put on the face of the Bible and you chose to be a pastor, you chose to live your life a certain way, you are also, as Jesus was, of the people, and you can be Christ-like. It says like. You can't be Christ. You can be like him.
You have those pastors and those facilitators. You have those ministers.
You do.
In churches that preach that persona that I
so
am.
That's why I'm always sitting in the church going, Christ-like, pastor.
They're not trying to be of the flock. They're not trying to be of the people. They're not trying. They're trying to be where they are. And this is how those congregations build up that pedestal.
A friend of mine.
That's exactly what happens. And then when they caught with somebody's son or daughter, all of a sudden, it's, oh my God. And people literally have almost nervous breakdowns for a day. But that's your fault because the pastor didn't preach being of the people, and then the congregation didn't keep. That's just a man.
No. And I think one of my friends, well, someone I know in my circle said it best, and they interviewed a prominent gospel singer and introduced him to the term. And I'm pretty sure we've all heard it at least once or twice, but she's really put it in the forefront with this interview recently, was saved adjacent. Now, this is things that she has said to us several times before about being saved adjacent. And her definition of what saved adjacent was, I think we all understand, especially those of us who are like Melissa and myself, and someone immediately in your family was the face of a church, whether it's the pastor, the evangelist, choir member, director. You knew what Save Adjacent was because they were the ones who were saved. You were selling your church money for bubblegum in just know that. And that is Save Adjacent, where you want to be there, but you just next door.
Right.
You want to live Christ-like, but you more like Paul and Saul. Okay? So I appreciate that she brought Saved Adjacent up to the forefront. I appreciate that you just said the definition and how it should look at age of and is. What I think CD was alluding to, and I can't wait, Jesus, I'm waiting for it, for A Money to give us his take on it, is somewhere along the lines, and I don't necessarily know if it was all of the small churches, because all of the small churches still have that ability that when you walk into it, if you don't feel like that sermon is for you, I walked into a church in Charlotte with the other half, and every time I sit there, I feel like the pastor has found out that I was somehow in the building and is talking directly to me and is holding me accountable. Small churches, true churches who believe in the Bible being the guide on the side will make you feel that way. I think who we are talking about are the churches who are now like Joel Osteen and making these luxury purchases and are trying to be of a certain class of people that the Bible never intended. Because
I'm sorry. Let me pick my Bible up. I think I just dropped it.
Won't he do it?
Won't he will?
He will.
Because I say it all the time. Please don't come at me with your religion, because my favorite song by PJ Morton says it. That has nothing to do with your religion.
All right. So
But
A Money.
why can't people of God prosper? Why can't they?
Oh, honey.
Hey, Money.
No,
Why can't
honey,
the people of God prosper? Why
you
can't the
can
people of God
prosper.
know what their flock is bringing in so they know who's
Mm-mm.
really doing what they do?
Come on through, A Money. Come on through.
Against
Oh boy. Yeah.
That has
Like
nothing.
will prosper. It won't. Okay,
y'all,
so
y'all are too funny.
hey,
I'm
hold on.
asking
Hey, Money.
questions. I'm asking questions.
We got a lot of people they chime in now.
Yeah,
boy.
go ahead, hit them.
Honey, I'm asking questions.
So I want to show these up real quick, and then A Money, you got to jump in because I know you got something. You done picked up you didn't pick up the soft Bible. You got the big hard one that's got the pretty edges and stuff, that you So Terry said, even so, do I have to stop doing things I enjoy because people are watching? We tell people to live their best lives, but somehow feel the right to add stipulations.
Yes.
People who don't even know, for real. Okay.
Live your life, Terry. Do what you want to do. Because you didn't ask to be a role model. You didn't ask to do that. Just know that people are watching, and you need to know and be prepared if somebody has something to say.
Honey, let me just say, those who know me, and Miss Melissa, she alluded to it before, the things that were said of me, I walked in the room and heard things about I did and turned around and asked, really? So I felt everything that she said and Terry said. No, I lived my best life. I lived a couple of people's best lives. I'm still living a couple of people's best lives. I'm going to continue to live a couple of people's best lives because I never signed on and I never publicly said I wanted to do that for you. What I did say was, I'm going to find myself. I'm going to live my truth. And if you choose to come with me and stay in my circle, let's go around. But if you spin yourself out, I won't miss you, not in one bit.
Yep. Oh, Amber, that's a big one right here. Almost blocked. Let me show y'all. Amber said, intimidation and fear. How dare you be strong, intelligent, beautiful, and wise all at the same time? She said that's what it boils down to. Anyone being born into this world with locks and wool black and rises above in any situation creates the Samson fear automatically.
Yep.
That as well, just as pressure of an idol who didn't ask to be as such. Oh man, she
gave all of that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, yes. In your mind, you already see what you would do. Yep.
Nothing wrong with the big billboard. I was paying him.
Come on, A Money. Come on, A Money.
Well, first of all, I don't believe you should be putting a pastor on a pedestal to begin with. Beginning with, every man is flawed. Every woman is flawed. So when you put somebody on a pedestal like that and hold them up as such, you're looking for failure. Me personally, you remember when you heard growing up is that you are called to a ministry. Now everybody is actually called to be a pastor.
That's right.
When you hold and when you put them up as such, right now with what I'm seeing out here today, with a lot of ministries, not all ministries, but a lot of ministries, is again being ran like a business. Now, I'm not gonna hate on their stilo now. I'm not gonna hate on their stilo, but I'm hating on the message. If you want to run a business, treat it as such and make sure that everybody is aware that it's a business. Don't be going out here using God's name in order to elevate what you're trying to get people to do. And running a business, that's to make money.
Personal agendas. Pastors with personal agendas will fail every time.
I think they call that a conflict of interest in my industry. But my business.
I just got some in my shoulder. Did y'all feel that it was in my shoulders? Woo. Charlie A Money just had it in my shoulders. Woo.
And if we had a lot more time, I'll get a little deeper into that. But
hey Terry. Hey.
Yeah, buddy. I knew A Money was gonna go there because we had a discussion about that some time ago. And it used to be one of our most deep discussions at the lunch counter many times about how the man of God and positioning and the money and the Lear jets and the $10 million homes and things of that nature. But riddle me this. Gotta throw another one out there, y'all. We still got some time. So we talked about celebrities and we talked about how, really we should be looking into our culture and we need to look into our surroundings, the next door neighbor, the barber. Okay. Miss Ann, who sells icy down the streets and stuff, she, if mama needs a loan, she's gonna help take care of mama or whatever. So she understands times are hard in y'all household, whatever case may be. But what about our young people today and them positioning themselves to put other people as role models, and then the role models are coming and saying buy these $350 Yeezys that are ugly and all this other stuff? What do we need to do about these young people today? And
you need to be a you for them. Okay. And I say that because I need a me for me, right? My business is relationships, right? My business is me educating and empowering, entertaining others as I do it too. So you need a you for you. And if the only thing they're getting is the $300 Yeezy without the wherewithal to know that there is something else, then the fault is yours too. If you are not guiding them and giving them choices and opportunities, then you are not creating people. You are guiding your sheeple.
Yep. Say that again. What are they called?
Sheeple. If you are not giving people the truth and the ability, positive or negative, to become people, you are creating sheeple. And I think that the reality television that I wouldn't mind being on, but I'm going to get on there, pay off my bills and get off.
Mhm.
because I was given a foundation. These young people, I don't fault them for anything that they do. We are learned creatures. You came into the world ignorant. If someone left you that way, you're, oh, I almost said it. Dare I said it, 45. But anyway, if you are allowed to be ignorant, you will continue to be so.
That's right.
If you have a problem with these young people, the way that they are, spend the time with the young people. I
Yep.
remember when they said it was adults' time to talk, it was adults' time to talk. But if I heard an adult conversation, someone corrected it for me to
Mhm.
understand. Although it wasn't my conversation, now that you have been exposed, let me educate you.
That's right.
Mm.
That's right. That's true. And
So
then
if you're not doing that for the young people today, then the fault is also yours. I'm part of a group called the Community CEOs, and that is because we meet, we greet, we come together because we want to be of our community. What you are doing here, you say the people's round table, you are offering people the opportunity to not only better themselves, but better ourselves together. So there is something that you want to be a community with.
there's a lot of, I was going to say that. Thank you, Nisi. There's a J. Cole song, No Role Models. I believe it came out 4 years ago. Nowadays, they say role models don't exist. We think people are truly who they are, and they aren't. And that's true. And I feel like my group, our age group, we're the last of a dying breed. At some point, it will resurface because there's nothing new under the sun. But I feel like we just got too much
Yes,
opportunity
Melissa.
to make a change, and we made the wrong change. We made our kids want for nothing. We made our kids comfortable. We made our kids, I don't want them to have to feel like I feel. I had to wait for my birthday and Christmas. I don't want my kids to do that. They can get whatever they want. You got
Well,
educated.
let me say that. Hold on. Because I did that. My parents did that for me. And that's why I said I didn't have to look nowhere else because they did that for me. The part where we did these children a disservice is we didn't tell them why they should appreciate that I'm
There you go.
offering that to you.
I'm talking about just
So
that there is no
I'm
education.
saying
My
we
kids are
can
raised
still
that
do
way.
that. You can
My
still
daughters
do
are
that.
that way.
Give them
But
all
I
the
also
tools.
tell them, I tell my daughters, this is why you are privileged. This is why I work, because back in the day, I had XYZ. I let them know that this is something that I'm doing for you because I love you, and I want you to have a different standard than I had. And
Yeah.
so, not to knock it, because I've done the same thing at 20 and 18 now, but at the same time, they know what it is to use coupons. They know what it is to have, okay, you know what, we got to stretch this $10. They know all about that. And so we have dropped the ball, I believe, with not incorporating our core stories, values,
Well,
morals. We have not done a good job with that. So this young generation, this is our kids. For those who had kids 20 plus years ago, this is our kids. Our kids are the ones that seem to be hollow, shallow, selfish, ignorant, sometimes just with no common sense. We have produced a part of this generation that we're looking at and shaking our head at and turning down your nose. That's your fault, and you can't get mad. Take time and talk to kids. I'll be at a function, family function, whatever. I go find the young people and I sit and talk to them. It's not because I'm immature, but it's because I see a need to somebody to even talk to them. Parents got phones, camera, laptops, tablets. That does not replace your engaging with your children.
well, I go you one better. I'm gonna go grab the elder and the young folks, and I'm gonna sit right in the middle, and we all gonna have a conversation. Because if I don't know where I came from, I can for damn sure not tell you where I'm going.
And that's the ideal situation, because the young people need to understand you need to listen to your elders.
I tell them all the time, and it was told to me, and I still have to learn that. My mother and I do not have the best relationship, no hidden secret. But what I do know is that she showed me the good, bad, and the ugly. I said, since you are so defiant to make your own way, I'm going to show you all the ways that this could go good and this could go wrong. But you want to build whatever you want to. It's that whole adage, I can lead you to the water. You drink it on your own.
Mm-hmm.
I can lead you to knowledge, but I can't make you think. I'm getting ready to put that on a t-shirt.
Honey. And I say it all the time. And and now that I'm older, and I'm moving in certain ways, and I've chosen to not do certain things, and I find myself in certain situations that a younger me would be in a jumpsuit. I have to say that we have to be mindful of that. When you know that you have grown, show someone else that growth, because they may be stretching out too.
Yep.
Good point.
Yep.
True.
Dang, that was deep.
Plants that are growing are usually growing towards the sun. They lean towards the other plants that are growing. Even if there's dead patches around them, you don't find too many things where that plant has not made its way towards the green. We have to do the same thing. We have to grow with each other. We have to grow. Even if there might be a space of dead or of not thriving, we got to still make it to those that can. And eventually,
or think about why. Think about why. Grapevines, you can cut them off at the top. You can pull them and uproot them. You can dig down with a hoe or a tiller. It's only going to go to 10 feet. Those vines went 80.
Yep.
That's true.
You will gut it. You will cut it down. You will burn a grape vineyard. If you leave it unattended, it will come back.
It will.
Because it is too deeply rooted. And you didn't go far enough.
And I think what we as being rooted so deep, we have to learn that we have to look at who we are going to say we want to be like. We want to have as a role model, a mentor, an inspiration. They should.
And if you don't have one, be one.
Yeah.
Just as deep. They should be just as deep. Their roots shouldn't be hanging from them. You shouldn't be looking at their roots when you're looking up at them. Since you want to put them on a pedestal. If you can see their roots, they don't belong there.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
Dropping some knowledge over here, man. Both of them.
They are. I want to share this one comment right here, and I want to share this, and this is about 7:10. See if y'all can get on this. She said, Terry said, I'm biased because I didn't have either parent growing up, but I feel like even following behind parents can lead you wrong.
Yes.
So, yeah,
absolutely.
So
absolutely.
Let me share this with you, Terry. And I'm gonna be very transparent, and Terry's gonna kind of know a little bit of this, and if I want everybody out here to know as well. So my son CJ, his mother and I, we did not make it, of course, and I married and she married, and of course, you got blended families and things of that nature or whatever. So one of the things that I want to share with Terry and with people is this: parents, good parents, never ask their children to follow what they do. Okay. Our job as a parent is not to live vicariously through our children. We're supposed to place them on the path. We're supposed to give them that which they need so they can succeed and survive. And then we take our hands off of it. And that's the one thing with my son CJ, because I was a chef and he went to culinary school. He came back and he was like, Pops, I can't do this. I'm not feeling this right now. He thought I was going to be mad. I'm like, this is your path. I can't make you do anything. You've got to be happy for yourself. You got to be able to take care of yourself, and you got to take care of your family when you get one. And that's what he's doing right now with the baby along the way. This will be his third one. So as a parent, Terry, We never want you to follow in the path that we want you on. It's not our job to say, oh, I was a ditch digger, so you're going to be a ditch digger too. No, we want you to do better. And we want you to be better. And we want you to get the tools from us, so therefore you can raise your children to be even better than you.
Yep.
And definitely better than us.
And
so I definitely agree with you on that. And that's what a true role model is. A role model doesn't put you in a position in which you got to follow them. They just naturally do what they know is right. And if you get something from it, then glory to God.
And Terry, let me say this to you from what I observed from our conversations, not knowing the extent of it until you just said it. You not having parents might have been your best teacher, because who are you as a parent today? Because you didn't have something does not mean you cannot be the best of that something.
Mm-hmm.
You not having parents may have taught you how to be, or the hunger for being, an amazing parent.
Yep.
Because you didn't birth children does not mean that you cannot be a mother or a father.
Yep.
That's right.
Because you didn't have something. Just from conversations I've had with you, young miss, in chat alone, never physically laid eyes on you. Your statement tonight should only be read back to you in the way in which I heard it. And I heard you saying, because I didn't have parents, I may have been led wrong, but I've carved out a path so my children will have the best parent I know how to be.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
Amen.
Amen.
Amen. Won't he do it?
Yes, it will.
Every time.
Every time. Well, family, as usual, we come to the time in which we really don't like. It'd be great if, we were all multimillionaires. We could stay on here even longer.
I know.
But,
well, speak that into existence. We know the universe of Jesus is listening.
Well,
chat with Charlie. Chat with Charlie needs to be a thing, and everybody in the earshot of us on these paths. And I won't say multimillionaires. Let your life be abundant, and you have everything that you need, and it replenishes.
There you go. Replenished, abundance, supplied.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this was pretty good. This was pretty good tonight, y'all.
Amen.
I'm so happy I popped on.
Yeah, Charlie, go ahead and share your information too.
Oh, yes, because I fail at that all the time, Carrie. That email is come and gone and we revamped. Sorry. I'm human. But it is PARTIWITHCHARLI on all social media and .com. I keep married people married, single people safe, everybody aware while you are exploring your relationships and your sexuality. Sexual health is not a dirty word. You do not have to play with a copay. And just because you are a sexual being doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. And if you need a parent, a mama, a auntie, because you are LGBTQIA+, I am an ALLY for you.
Boom.
All right.
Yes. And anybody listening, Charlotte area this weekend, 24th, there's a Black wedding expo at Central Avenue, and it's at Project 685. I hope I got the name right, from 11 to 3. And yours truly, Miss Pitbull, will be a vendor under my other business, Miss Mahogany Essence, there with multiple vendors and services provided for weddings by Blacks. So shout outs to Charlotte Black owned. If we can get our schedules aligned, we will have them on the show. It's two sisters out here in the Charlotte area doing big things. Big
You know,
things.
the party with Charlie will come home. I've been saying that to y'all all the time. Book me, I'll come home.
Come on.
All right.
Won't you come on?
I'll come home.
You just got to tell us when you want to come on. You know, you always welcome.
Yeah. All you got to do is say the word.
That's true. These are true things. So we'll make it happen.
Done deal.
Thank you, Terry.
Thank you,
Thank you, Terry.
Terry.
Thank you, Terry. That is beautiful to say. Yep, we have to definitely give people their flowers now.
Yeah.
Definitely give people the flowers now. And family, this is the reason for at the Roundtable Podcast Show, rather, because we want to open the doors to everybody. If you have a topic or discussion, if you have a business, you just want to be heard, come to the table. We definitely want you on in a magnanimous way. Another word for you, Adrian.
I already I'm gonna go back and listen to it again in the recording.
There you go. All right, family, we gotta go. It's your boy CD.
And your man A Money.
Charlie.
I would pass it over to me. I was waiting for the usual three. She gonna give it to me. That's fine.
Yeah, she
She
tried to lob it to you. It didn't work.
Right. Well, I will say this. It is the party with Charlie, and I'm pleased to be at the round table as always.
And it's your girl, Miss Pitbull. I was tardy to the party, but I'm here now. Family, y'all have a great night. Have a great evening. Remember, make sure you smile. Make sure you stay positive and be of serving the service. And we will see y'all next week.
Leave love everywhere.
Love y'all. Thank you. Thank you, Amber, for joining us this evening from California. We appreciate you. Thank you, Melissa. We love y'all. Peace.